Nothing, of course, is more spectacular, and nothing puts points up on that scoreboard faster than the big bomb. The passing game, however, is more than the big bomb. It consists of intelligent route running and a quarterback who has the intelligence to read the defense and the courage to hold the ball in the pocket until the right moment. That's the passing game, and that's why from original concept to final execution, every phase of the passing game must be perfected to the utmost. In our film of passing and pass receiving, we have covered the coordination and timing we demand between quarterback and receivers. We also demand absolute discipline in the running of the routes. But first we demand complete familiarity with the pass defenses, which will determine the play call and those routes. In our film on those defenses, we discuss their strengths. Now I want to cover their weaknesses. For it is on a team's ability to exploit those weaknesses that its success with its passing game will depend. In the man-to-man defense, for example, the weakness is that there's a great burden put on the outside corner people and the strong side safety. If you remember, we can control the weak side safety with the action of the weak side halfback. The weakness is that it's very difficult to control the post movements. Both of these cornermen and the strong side safety realize there is no help to the inside. Therefore, they have to be very careful and cover those particular offensive men both inside and outside, leaving themselves wide open for either post moves or for corner moves. The weakness of the combination defenses, remember, both the weak linebacker and the middle linebacker go weak. We have a man-to-man coverage with the strong side linebacker on the fullback. The strong side linebacker has one coaching point. In order to help the coverage deep, we ask the strong side linebacker to chuck the YN real hard, to prevent him from getting off on the inside real clean. However, in doing so, he has to stay with that YN, which makes it very difficult, for example, for him to cover a fullback who would have come down the field hard. That's one of the weaknesses. And of course, the other, which has been mentioned in the man-to-man setup, when you combine the two safeties on the YN, for example, or the halfback and the safety on the wingback, you usually leave something else open. For example, if they're both covering on a YN, this YN can hold both of these people, leaving the post open again to either the XN or to the wingback. In the zone defenses, where the middle linebacker goes to the weak side hook zone, and the weak side linebacker goes to the flat zone, and the strong linebacker comes to the hook zone on his side, with either the halfback coming up to cover the short flat zone and the safety going deep to cover the deep zone, and this man coming in here to cover the middle zone, and this halfback out here to cover the outside deep zone. Well, that's great coverage for the deep pass. Actually, very seldom should a pass be completed for a touchdown against that. However, there are many, many, many weaknesses. Obvious looking at it, of course, at the big weakness with this man going weak and this man going weak and this man coming here, at the great weaknesses underneath all of these people. Underneath, in other words, the short passing game really picks the zone apart. There's a weakness here, for example, under the safety man who goes deep to the center. There's a weakness outside here. There's no coverage in this hole. Inside the halfback and outside the linebacker. You can hold that linebacker, for example, by bringing the fullback in here. The hole and then opens up to the end for a turnout in here. There's a big hole in this area. There are many holes in the zone. There's also a hole if you hold a fullback bring a fullback up and you hold a halfback up, the safety has to come deep, and there's a hole just beyond the halfback and underneath the strong side safety who goes to the deep outside zone. So the weakness of the zone defense, of course, is the short passing game. The weakness of the free safety defense, if you remember, on the snap of the ball, we asked the weak side safety to come into the center and cover the middle zone, and we actually can control this linebacker with this halfback. For example, if we move him out, he's got to move out with him. And doing so, of course, and by the fullback going this way, you can move both of these linebackers to the strong side. That leaves a tremendous hole right in here, which, of course, is where you will attack this particular type of defense. Those are the weaknesses. Now I'd like to discuss some pass plays that have been successful for my team against some of these defenses and in certain game conditions. And the first one I'd like to discuss is the fullback wide X and Y wing trail. And we'll look at it on computer animation. The line blocking is normal pass blocking. The fullback runs a flat route. He runs his pattern to the flat, and his purpose is to pull that strong side linebacker to the flat and to stop him from dropping deep underneath. When the fullback reaches the sideline, as he often does on all flat routes, he turns upfield. The halfback checks the weak side linebacker for a blitz. If there is none, he runs a wide pattern to pull the weak side linebacker with him, to make him cover him so that the weak side linebacker cannot drop and get underneath the Y end. The split end splits to 7 yards. He is the first name receiver and goes deep, running almost a split to an area between the weak side halfback and the safety. His object is to occupy both of them, to pull both of them out of the area so that the Y end may come open. The Y end goes 3 to 4 yards downfield with an inside release on my strong side linebacker and runs an over pattern, crossing over to the other side of the field. He may go either underneath or behind the middle linebacker, but deepening his route so that in the area beyond his offensive left tackle, he should be 8 to 10 yards deep. He will usually come open immediately after he passes the middle linebacker. If he is not open then, he will come open real late, way across the field. The wingback splits 10 to 15 yards. He proceeds straight up the field, approximately 15 yards, and runs a trail pattern, running directly across the field, parallel to the line of scrimmage. Against a man-to-man coverage, the wingback is the receiver most always open, because as the Y end goes across, he drags the strong side safety with him. The fullback pulls the strong side linebacker out, and a hole opens. As the quarterback drops back, he keys the middle linebacker and the strong side safety. The quarterback drops 8 to 10 yards. The first receiver he looks for is the Y end. He looks for that Y end as he passes the middle linebacker. And if the Y end is not open, he looks for the wingback on the trail. The split end will not come open unless there is a blitz. As the quarterback drops back, he keys the middle linebacker and the strong side safety. The halfback checks the weak side linebacker for a blitz. The split end will come open. This is a pass used when the strong side defensive halfback, covering the wingback on the X and Y wing trail, has been overplaying the halfback or the wingback looking for the inside break. The split end runs the same pattern as he did in the X and Y wing trail. He splits 7 yards and goes deep, again running a split to an area midway between the weak side halfback and the safety man. His object again is to occupy both of them. The Y end runs the same pattern as he did in the X and Y wing trail. He goes 3 to 4 yards downfield with an inside release on the strong side linebacker and runs an over pattern, crossing over to the opposite side of the field. The wingback goes down about 10 to 12 yards. He makes a good hard break to the inside. He fakes that trail route, then plants his left foot and breaks back deep to the outside. The quarterback usually does no keying here and will throw to the wingback. If the wingback is well covered on the break to the outside, the quarterback will lead him back to the outside, bringing the wingback back to the ball. This is a pass used when the strong side defensive halfback, covering the wingback, has been overplaying the inside break. An excellent play against readers. The defensive secondary that is looking into the line and backfield for keys is what we call our fake sweep wing fly, built off our fullback series, with the fullback hitting up the middle. It's a good call in short yardage situation. It's a good first down play, and I have even used it to open games. The YN blocks aggressively on the strong side linebacker to influence him to believe it's a run, and also to get the strong side halfback and strong side safety to think run. The right tackle drive blocks on the defensive end, simulating run. The right guard fires into the defensive left tackle. The center, on an even man line, blocks to his left, away from the play. The left guard leads with his right foot, steps into the defensive right tackle, and then drops back to the outside, looking for the weak side linebacker to pick him up if he blitzes. If not, the left guard helps the center with the right tackle. The left tackle drives into the defensive right end and then recovers. The fullback drives over the left leg of the center, taking a slight fake from the quarterback to block the middle linebacker if he blitzes. If the middle linebacker is not blitzing, the fullback hangs or fills as an option blocker. The left halfback comes across the backfield to the strong side between the quarterback and the offensive line. He picks up anybody who leaks through. If none, he becomes an optional receiver in the flat. The split end, set out 5 to 6 yards, runs a deep turn in at approximately 10 to 12 yards. The wingback starts downfield, looking to the inside, just as he does on the run, looking for the strong side safety. He makes a slight fake to the inside, hoping to draw the strong side halfback up or lull him as he does on the run. And then he breaks outside and up. The quarterback pivots to his left and makes a slight fake to the fullback and sprints deep to allow the halfback to cross underneath him. He sets up at 8 yards and throws to the wing. The ball leaves the quarterback's hands by the time the receiver is 10 to 15 yards downfield. So this is a semi-quick pass. If the wingback is covered, the quarterback has 2 outlets: the split end on a turn-in, or 2, the halfback in the flat. The quarterback sets up at 8 yards and throws to the wing. Another very successful pass play that we've employed so many times over the years is a rather simple pass play, which we call a Y and wing turn-in. It's excellent, we think, because it's good against most defenses, and it puts a great burden upon the middle linebacker. On the Y and wing turn-in, as the name signifies, the wingback and the Y do simple turn-in maneuvers. The fullback, in this particular case, runs a flat route. What he does is run right at the linebacker and then out into the flat. As he reaches the sideline, of course, as he does in all flat routes, he turns up if he does not get the ball in the flat. With the action of the fullback running a wide route, usually the strong side linebacker has to move out to attempt to cover him, which allows the YN to release inside the linebacker. He releases inside and runs right at that safety man, driving the safety man back. And as he drives him back, he fakes to the outside and then starts his turn-in maneuver. As soon as he starts his turn-in maneuver, he must key the middle linebacker. Now, there's 2 or 3 things that the middle linebacker can do. The middle linebacker, of course, with the fullback action, his action is usually to the same side. The middle linebacker is coached to do a number of things. One is to shut off the turn-in, to play the YN, to prevent the pass from being thrown to him, to the YN. If he does that, then the YN continues to force. And what he does, he brings the middle linebacker back to him, just like that. And of course, it's obvious now what happens. The wingback, as he's coming off, drives, and he has a number of maneuvers he can make before he starts his turn-in. He can fake a fly to drive the halfback back and then quickly bring it off in a turn-in. He can fake a sideline pattern and then bring it back and make us turn in. Or a great maneuver, and one that we've used successfully, is to come down and start a post maneuver. Just like that, which brings the halfback quickly to the inside and then break it off on a turn-in. The first thing he keys, we don't worry about the halfback. That halfback has got too much to be concerned about flies and about posts and everything else. So he's really deep conscious. We're concerned with this man. The fullback, if you remember, has caused the strong side linebacker to move to the flat. As he makes his turn-in after any one of these maneuvers, he looks to the inside, or he's conscious of where the linebacker is. The linebacker's out, he comes right inside that linebacker. If the middle linebacker has now been concerned with the YN, you can visualize the tremendous hole that's open here for the quarterback to throw to the wingback. Now, what else can the middle linebacker do? The middle linebacker, of course, can ignore the YN. The middle linebacker, as he's coming, can go to a hook area right in here, which many teams are coached to do. And as he does that, of course, the YN comes right in his inside, and now the ball is thrown to the YN over the middle. One other thing, on a zone defense or on any kind of a defense where the middle linebacker goes weak, regardless of what the fullback does, he goes weak. Now, the YN, of course, is conscious of this and will pull up in the middle, usually in here with the safety man. When the middle linebacker goes weak, the safety man usually goes into the hole. Simple maneuver on this side, we ask the XN to run a split to take the halfback and possibly the safety man out. This is very effective against a middle linebacker who is quick to read and cover a fullback. The YN delays on the strong side linebacker and runs a quick drag. The XN opens up approximately 6 to 8 feet, blocks the weak side linebacker aggressively for 2 counts, and then delays over the middle and the area vacated by the middle linebacker, who will be going with the flood or with the fullback. The left halfback runs a fly outside the XN, being careful not to get pulled down by the linebacker. The halfback's job is to make both the outside linebacker and the defensive halfback aware of him. The fullback has no blocking responsibility, but flares wide. The quarterback keys the middle linebacker, drops back 7 to 9 yards. When the middle linebacker vacates the area, the quarterback hits the split end over the middle. If the middle linebacker does not go with the left halfback and the weak side safety stays, the secondary receiver is the wingback or the YN in the flat. The quarterback keys the middle linebacker. The secondary receiver is the wingback. Now I want to give you a play pass that has proved itself to me time and time again. It's a great call in a short yardage situation, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, or on the goal line. And since the fullback slant is a lead short yardage play, as we saw in one of our running game films, the defense must be geared to stop it. This play pass is a takeoff on that slant, and we have worked it successfully in National Football League championship games as well as in the Super Bowl games. That's why I deem it a great pass play, the fullback slant ex post. Before we discuss the routes of the receivers or the play fake itself on the fullback slant ex post, I'd like to discuss just quickly the pass blocking, because it is a little bit different than the pass blocking we use in the regular situation or in the ordinary situation in the field. This is a short yardage situation, you got to remember now. And actually what we do, we slide the line away from the play fake. I mean by that, since the play fake is to the left here, what we do, we slide all of the linemen to the right. In other words, the right tackle will drive on the linebacker or the first man who was outside, in this case the linebacker. He just drives right out on him. The right guard will drive on the first man to his outside, which in this case is the defensive end. The center will drive to his right, away from the play fake. The offensive left guard will cut off the man over him, the man who was inside, and the offensive tackle will drive the defensive end who's over him. The routes of the YN and the wingback on the fullback slant X post, the wingback does either a square out or a fly. His job is to hold at least the halfback and possibly both the strong side safety and the halfback. The YN releases either inside or outside the linebacker, who is usually blitzing in this particular situation, and his job is to hold the safety man either by hooking with a turn out or a turn in. The quarterback reverse pivots exactly as he does on the fullback slant. You've got to remember that we want to make this play look as much like the running play as we possibly can. He actually puts that ball into the fullback's stomach, who leads for the outside leg of his tackle. The ball is placed in his stomach, and the fullback simulates run and then drives on the linebacker. He actually blocks that linebacker who is blitzing or who is coming across in a short yardage situation. The XN and the halfback drives for the outside leg of the linebacker, just as he does on the run, as if he were going to block him, and then flattens out and runs a sideline route. The XN, the lead receiver usually, comes down the field shortly. He's split, possibly 3 yards at a maximum, somewhere between 3 and 4 yards as a maximum. It's the same position he takes on the run. Ordinarily on the run, as if you remember from the running game film, he either blocks on the halfback or he blocks on the safety man, the first man to show on the run. In this particular case, he comes down and then runs a quick post right into this area. He actually keys the safety man. If the safety man comes up to block, to play the run, or if the safety man comes up to cover the halfback who is flying down the sidelines, he actually runs that post almost directly behind the position that the safety man has vacated. If the safety man drops back, in other words, if he smells pass, the XM will now run a split right in this area. Someone has to come up and play the fullback for the run. The halfback, as he comes out and goes to the flat, runs a sideline route. The XN runs a post. The quarterback, after he makes his fake, drops back into the pocket and keys the safety man. If the safety man is up to cover the run, or if the safety man is out to cover the halfback on the sideline route, he hits the XN, usually for a very, very sizable gain. One peculiar thing about this pass, usually if the XN is open, the halfback is open. Invariably, you'll find that both men are open. In other words, if the XN is open, the halfback is open. If the XN is covered, usually neither one is open. It's one of those plays that it's either do or die. In other words, either it's successful or it isn't successful. Watch this game action now as the quarterback reverse pivots and fakes to the fullback. The fullback aims at the outside leg of the left tackle and picks up the weak side linebacker. The quarterback keys the weak side safety, and since the safety covers the halfback, this leaves the split end wide open. The passing game, its play selection and its precision. That's obvious. What isn't obvious is the persistence. The persistence of the practice field, the persistence of the playbook, the persistence of the quarterback and receivers who must read those defenses and read them correctly. The persistence of those unsung linemen up front who must put on those pass blocks and make them stick. The persistence of the end or flanker or back who must run a route precisely to divert a defender, to clear an area for the receiver, and the persistence of that receiver who must get to and get that ball. That's the passing game.